Welcome to Candles and Cocktails.
Mm-hmm.
We having some cocktails. We chilling. We having a vibe. We hosted by the Brook. So we're gonna get into some topics today that we've been wondering about. We've been kind of talking about the cheers to episode 1.
Yes.
And what's the name, Bunny? What's the name of the podcast?
It's called The Weeping Room.
That's what we talking about. So
Weeping, crying, laughing.
How you come up with the Weeping Room, Bun?
So I felt like that like the Weeping Room could be like a place where people could laugh so hard that they crying.
I know that's right.
So, and it's also a place of like vulnerability where we can just really have conversations and talk. And some things might bring you to tears, and some things might bring you to tears of joy. So I thought that might be a great way for us to have vulnerability. Everything can't be funny and everything can't be too serious.
That's right.
So we have to have Jesus wept.
What? That was what? One verse.
One verse.
And on to the next chapter.
The shortest verse in the Bible. So I wanted to make sure that
and what that mean to you, Jesus wept? You know what it mean to me?
What do you mean to you?
He got emotions too. He's a God and he's also a human.
I agree.
And he got emotions too.
I agree.
So that means we got emotions too.
You know what? I had a talk with a guy because a lot of men don't like to cry.
No, and that's what I get from that.
We're gonna get into that one.
Is that if you're a man of God, and I believe that I am, and I know that I am, you have to have you have to show emotion. I feel like it's healthy for your household. It's healthy for if you have children and a family, you have to show them that, because what happens is when you have emotion and you hold that in, that either depression, anger, rage. So, not to get too deep, but
but that's it.
For real. And I struggle with crying. I struggle with showing people my emotions, but I do have a group of friends and people where I can just cry.
Be vulnerable.
That part.
I was listening to NPR the other day, and they were talking about how the protagonist typically in a movie is an angry man who like saves the day, right?
Especially a black person.
Yeah, like he gets angry, he goes off. Maybe somebody he loved got accosted by somebody. He's upset, and that anger turns into refuge. Now he has taken care of everybody. He has saved all these people. And for men, typically the only thing that you can do is be angry to be accepted.
What's the opposite of crying? Or
for some reason, anger I think has become synonymous with strength. Like that person who is vulnerable or showing who they are or crying is considered weak, when really we know that emotional intelligence shows that you have to let that stuff out, otherwise you can't think clear, you can't make sound decisions, you can't figure things out. And crying is a response to pain. Like, it's literally our brain telling us release that. And how many people feel better after they cry? Crying man during the night, weeping. But guess what?
You feel so much better.
It does. When you have a good cry at night, next day you wake up.
I mean, I feel better though. Shit.
Oh man, I really believe that God gave us tears. He cares about our feelings.
Absolutely.
I think the Bible, when He revealed that Jesus wept, is saying that I gave you feelings because I care about your feelings. And so, like, people feel like they can't have feelings because you believe so much in God that you can't feel anything. So you like, well, God is going to, how you feeling? Blessed and highly favored.
What the bishop say?
What?
He said people always talking about how you doing, but they don't mean it.
They don't really mean it.
How you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I say? I said, how you feeling?
Yeah.
And people tend to respond to that more.
What y'all gonna say when you ask somebody how you feeling and they be like, I'm fucking shit?
But honestly, I'm the type of person I'll be like, well, what's going, like that's the thing, like I'm the type of man where I am not good with small talk.
Right.
But when you lead with stuff like that, like it makes me more intrigued to be like, what's going on? Like, because if I can talk you off the bridge, I'ma try. It's light. Like we're light. Like we're God's light on earth. And I feel like when people come out to you on things like that, I don't think you should frame away from that. I feel like if somebody's coming out, sometimes they could carry you out on just they want attention, but you will know that's the spirit, right?
Even still, I feel like there's a little bit of grace you can give in that, because we get very annoyed by those people. I know I do. I have short tolerance.
Damn.
Were you really asking, but you're not asking?
No,
so you one of them, hey,
I'm not going out the way to ask if I don't want to know, but I'll do it because I know this bothers me. So I work really hard. If it's something, I go against the grain towards things that I feel like make me uncomfortable. I don't know why. I feel like it. I don't know. It's probably stemmed from childhood. But if it's something that I don't want to do, sometimes I'll force myself to do it just because I'm like, okay, clearly there's a reason why I don't want to do this. Let me work through it.
Right.
And if it's one of those situations, it's like, okay, let me go ahead and have an honest conversation with this person because they do the most. They're always trying to get attention, but it's a reason.
I think that we suffer from social promiscuity.
What do you mean by that?
I think a lot of people are socially
Webster.
a lot of
What does that mean?
Okay, put us
To the people,
on.
come on.
I believe like if you weren't promiscuous, you'll have sex with anything. And I think when you're socially promiscuous, you'll talk to anybody. You'll be engaging with people who are not healthy for you. So you really not asking. Like when I'm trying to make love to somebody, I'm not being promiscuous. So if I'm asking you socially promiscuity, and I'm saying, "How you doing?" but I don't mean it. I'm just engaging in conversation because right now attention to me is currency.
Ooh.
Attention is currency. It's money. People want attention. They'll fight
Especially
you
through
for
social
attention.
media.
It was also a currency of mine. Time. My time is so important. Now
Yeah.
that I'm older and I'm busy and everything I do is intentional, it's definitely like my time.
Yeah.
Like a pet peeve of mine, and y'all struggle with this, is on time.
Oh, I'm so
If
glad
you
you
on
brought that
time-
up.
If you on time, you
I'm
late.
so glad
and if
you
you
brought
early,
that
you on
up.
time.
Because I was just reading, somebody had put, it's probably on Twitter, but they were like, you know, when you rush, and of course you should definitely plan appropriately or whatever, but I hate the feeling of feeling rushed, and I hate the feeling of being unfinished. And they were like, it's almost like you're navigating through scarcity of time, like navigating through lack and scarcity. So it's like you feel like you don't have enough of something, and what you don't have enough of is time.
Right.
Now, granted, we really don't. It's a resource you can't really get back, but at the same time, it's like, you know, I'm rushing for something, and then at the end of the day, like, what is this?
But let me ask you, when you getting paid for something, do you rush?
I don't rush,
Boom.
but when it comes to time,
When you
it
got a
comes
job,
to
You
work,
on time.
When you got a job and you need to be on time or you
You
get
right.
fired, you on time
Because
that
it's
job,
associated
right?
with your currency.
That's right.
I
And that is
believe
my
in being on
main
time for
caveat.
work, and I believe on being on time for people who are waiting for me. But if it's like an event or something, and it's like, you know, it's gonna be during these certain periods, I come in the middle and I leave early. I don't like being in places early. I just don't.
If nobody's waiting on you.
Yeah, if nobody's waiting on me, I don't like being places early.
Right. What's your theory about that? Coming late, leaving early. What's your vibe with that? Like, what makes it? What makes that
Sometimes
like
I'll
you?
stay after if it's somebody that I know is like I'm close to, but if it's like a social thing and I don't know everybody, like, well, I
So
gotta be there
it's
from the
a-
beginning to the end.
It's like I'm using this loosely, but like social anxiety.
Hmm.
Like I need to come in to like I don't want to like come in and there's people I don't know
Right.
and I don't want to feel weird and awkward. So and I'm just saying this from my experience. Typically I'm on time, but if I'm late, people call it, what is it, fashionably late?
Yeah.
But it's
Or
like I
CP
want
time?
all my people to be
No.
there. So when I get there, I feel
Yeah,
comfortable.
you ain't waiting around. and,
That's
like,
social
you know.
anxiety.
But for me, it's I want to make an interesting exit.
That's social anxiety.
Like, you can look at me. It's not because I'm scared. It's like at the end
It's
of the
not.
day.
I'm not saying about being scared. I'm
or
saying
not that I feel uncomfortable.
it's like yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know.
Why do you associate that with social anxiety?
Because at least in my experience, a lot of people who are not on time, they're late on purpose. And
So
a lot
they
of
can
it
like
is-
sneak in.
It's not even sneak in. It's just like I want everybody to be there first.
oh
Or-
yeah, that's it.
And I feel like, well, what's the reason to like? Why do you need
Unless
everybody?
it's
wh-
my friends. Like there are some events where I don't know
You
people.
ain't never on time, Angelica.
Jello, you not.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Do not do
Or
that.
y'all too.
Oh, because we're friends.
Yeah.
So like,
And
I
that's
can
why
tell
you get left.
I come late. I go late to things because I don't want to be in the awkward space of people not being there.
That's what I
when
think
you
he's
when you
saying.
like exactly that's why I
Yeah.
agree with them. Like
Mhm.
when you come in and especially with like people you know gonna be late, I don't want to show up, especially if I've been invited. Say I don't know who's gonna be there. I'm for sure coming an hour late because I want the vibe that they promised to be happening for me to walk into. I don't want to be the one sitting there waiting.
And for me, I guess that's a time is precious thing too, because when I host things, I don't care if people are late.
Really?
I don't, because I feel like people have things going on.
Yeah.
Like if you want to stop by, cool. If you want to be there from beginning to end,
Mhm.
it's not like I don't know. I'm not meticulous about, oh, you need to be there. I want it to be full at this time. Of course, if I'm like paying for the event and it's like my wedding or something, I want people to be there throughout
Right,
the
right,
time.
right.
But if it's like a social gathering or if I'm having people at my house, I don't really care.
I,
You disagree? You think I get angry? You think I feel a certain type of way if people are late?
No, it's not that I feel a certain type of way. I just feel like
Well, I'm saying from you knowing me.
I just feel like when somebody makes a standard to say, "Hey, I am throwing something and I will need you to be there at 7 o'clock. I feel like there should be, if you say I accept and you understand you'll be at 7 o'clock, you should be there on time. Like, you should be respectful of that. Like, regardless of all the conditions outside of that, I feel like you should have enough respect to be like, look, they have set whatever up. All I have to do is show up.
Right.
Well, everyone to be early. Late is my love language.
Be there on time.
But I think it's the same thing as like we talking about currency, the cost of things, right? Mm-hmm. So when you dealing with someone that is saying, I have everything according to your budget. You can pop in, you can leave when you want to. You
right,
can
that's how I am.
It. That's her expectation. So the people she operate with will do that. Mm-hmm. People like you will show up on time to support her in that entire event. There's other people that's going to pop in and pop out. And to her, it don't matter, right? But to you, like, I put this event together because you operate off a schedule.
And you know, people be playing too.
Yeah, like you have a whole plan and you have an experience from the time somebody walks in to the time they leave. So I think every party's not like that though. I think that's quite exquisite.
That's what I'm thinking right now too. Because I'm like, you know, people be playing. People
they
will
do.
say it started at 7
and lying,
and then it don't start till 9:30,
and that happens all the time.
And that's why I'll be like, you know, I'm rushing. I'm sitting here like, okay, you know, when are we gonna pop? I've done that enough to where it's just like, but you have to know your friends too. Like, you know, if I know somebody is like, okay, if you come at this time, you're gonna miss X, Y, and Z. You know, it's like I either know in my head, okay, I'm okay with missing X, Y, and Z, or I need to be there at that time so I can take part in that. Like, a lot of people do not have respect for personal space.
Ow!
No, she like.